Creed 3 has so much going for it. One, Michael B. Jordan going behind the camera, giving some fresh eyes to the franchise. Obviously, since this is his first time directing, this could have went bad, but spoiler, it went well. And adding Jonathan Majors to the film, so one of the best actors doing it right now as an antagonist to go along with Michael B. Jordan's intensity, another check. And then getting Ryan Coogler to come back and write the script with his brother, I think that was another great thing there. There was something missing from that second film that Ryan Coogler wasn't able to add. And I think that he did a great job of bringing the heart back to this film. My thumbnail said this was a game changer. When I break down the good and the bad of Creed 3, I'm going to explain why. Let's start with the premise. Still dominating the boxing world, Adonis Creed thrives in his career and family life. When Damien, a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy, resurfaces after serving in prison, he's eager to prove that he deserves his shot in the ring. The face-off between former friends is more than just a fight. To settle the score, Adonis must put his future on the line to battle Damien, a fighter who has nothing to lose. Let's start off with the good. Michael B. Jordan is the star of the show here. A lot of reviews have been talking about Jonathan Majors' performance, the best performance of his career and everything. And yes, Jonathan Majors is awesome in this film, but I don't see enough people highlighting Michael B. Jordan, his performance behind the camera and in front of the camera. Behind the camera, as the director of this film, he has a real knack for directing. I think that he has directed the film the best out of this trilogy so far. And I love Ryan Coogler as director. But I think he's learned from Ryan Coogler so much and added his own personal touches in a way that has elevated and just made the film feel a lot better than the first two films. I love Creed 1 and I like Creed 2, but I really think that this one is the best one because of Michael B. Jordan's directing. From the way he let emotional scenes breathe, but not let it get out of hand and let actors just do whatever they want. It was just a right amount of time, right amount of emotion. You got the message that you needed to get out of it, and he did a really great job of positioning camera in a way where you get to really see the emotions and the things that are going through the actors, and you can see that the actors felt like they had a new energy doing this. Not that they didn't have energy in the first two films, but it's just a little bit different. It feels like that they trusted Michael B. with their vulnerability a lot more in this film. Out of all three Creed films, I think this one is paced the best. The first two, like I said, are movies that I really like, but there were parts in part one and a lot of parts in part two that I felt a little bored, where I felt like certain things dragged out, where I felt like there was maybe scenes in it that didn't affect the overall plot, or just could have been, had a little bit more energy or something added to it to give it a little bit more flair. I think Michael B. Jordan did a great job of those same scenes that would happen in those first ones where I was kind of like, I think he did a great job here of giving it a lot of energy in terms of the camera placement. I felt like the camera was always moving, whether it was a fight or just a normal conversation. It was drawing your attention to something. It was positioned in a way where it made the conversation or made whatever thing that you were seeing, whatever interaction scene, feel a little bit more interesting. He added a lot of flair to each scene where it didn't just feel like the camera was just sitting there and watching the actors act. But the biggest thing, this is a boxing movie. So how was the boxing? Because the boxing, the first two movies were great, but Michael B. Jordan takes it to another notch where I think this is maybe the best boxing that I've seen in any boxing film ever. He adds a lot of his anime influence flares to it, and I see it as an anime fan all throughout the film. I can see that he watched some boxing anime and some regular action anime and added a lot of it, but he didn't do it in a way where it will turn off people who don't watch anime. So don't think me saying that is that those flares are going to make you like, well, I don't understand what's going on. It's not Dragon Ball Z, but he added a sharpness to the punches, a speed to the fighting inside of the ring, and something that the other two films didn't do. You really get inside of the mind of the actual fighters. There's moments where they're fighting where you can see the technique of what they're doing a lot more because of the way he slows things down and the way he paces the fights a lot. Specifically, in one of the first fights that Michael B. Jordan has in the film, you can see him looking Like in the first two films, I always remember him getting hit in the face a lot, and I was like, "Why is he not blocking?" But then in this film, it kind of explains his strategy and how he kind of lures people in. And I think that if you're a boxing fan, you kind of probably already saw those things and knew what they were doing, especially if you're a boxer. But for a casual viewer like me that doesn't watch boxing, I think he did a great job of drawing me into the strategy of boxing, and I thought that elevated every fight. Plus all the slowdowns and he took some risk, especially in that final act, that worked for me. I don't know if it's going to work for everybody, but I thought added to the storytelling. It brought all the storytelling that we were having in the film into the ring as well. So I thought he did a phenomenal job from beginning to end with this film, and I'm really excited to see where Michael B. Jordan takes his directing career. Now, on from the directing, I think that this is Michael B. Jordan's actual best acting performance that he's had so far as well. I think that the Adonis Creed that we saw in the first film is so different from the Adonis Creed that we get in this third film. There's a lot of character growth, but what's great is that he's still flawed. Some of those traits that he had in the first film, his hot-headedness, his lack of giving up on things and his emotions are still there, but he's not haste to just get into a fight. He's more of a straight man. He's trying to live a more positive life, and I really, really like to see that growth in the character, and it helped the acting performance for Michael B. Jordan to be a lot more dynamic, for him to straddle that line and do both things at the same time instead of just being angry all the time and ready to fight like he was in the first two films. And a lot of what was going on is him being haunted by his past, not wanting to talk about it, wanting to forget, and his past comes back to blow up his life, and that is in the form of Damien, and that's played by Jonathan Majors, one of the best actors doing it right now. Digging up old memories that he wanted to put away, a lot of painful stuff that's going on. Jonathan Majors' Damien shows what could have happened to Michael B. Jordan's Adonis if he didn't have Felicia Rashad, who plays his mother, to save him, to adopt him, to bring him into a better life, a better position. Damien's character did not have that. He served jail time for a big chunk of his life. He has a lot of anger, a lot of pain, and a lot of blaming of other people for the position that he was put in instead of taking responsibility for his actions. And I think Jonathan Majors did a great job of making you understand his character's gripes throughout the film, while also making him charming, and you rooted for him sometimes and then you didn't root for him the other times. I think Jonathan Majors did a lot for this role, and the writing was there, but I think that he did a lot of great things with his body language and how he was in the beginning towards the, and then when a switch happens in the middle to the ending of the film. I think he did a great job of matching Michael B. Jordan's energy and elevating what the film has as a villain. Because in the first two films, they got guys that were actual fighters. The guy that played Drago and the guy that played the champion in the first film. But they weren't much actors, and you can see that they were limited. Having Michael B. Jordan to go across another actor was really, really great. And then the boxing was still great as well. That physicality wasn't lost. They were beating the crap out of each other, or at least they made it look like they were beating the crap out of each other. So I think it just elevated the film overall to have another great actor across Michael B. Jordan who's given a career best. And let's address the elephant in the room. Sylvester Stallone's Rocky. In an integral part of the first two films, an integral part to this franchise, since he was the main character for about 5 to 6 movies. He is not in this film. He's not mentioned in the film. They don't explain why he's not there, which is really weird. And it was noticeable his presence wasn't there, especially in a few key scenes where you're like, he should have been here. He should have been here in this section here. He should have been here in this section there. But Tessa Thompson's Bianca, Adonis's wife, Michael B. Jordan, steps into that role. Not obviously, she's not training him to be a boxer or talking to him to be a boxer, but those emotional moments where he needed a pep talk or he needed someone to understand him, she did a great job of being there, and she got to be more of a character here than she got to do in the first two films. She got to do more here in this film that she got to do in the first two films, what I really liked. There was character growth in her character as well. The dynamics between them two and their daughter, who's now a lot older, was just fantastic. They were very adorable together. The daughter's deaf, so we got some representation of that disability in here, and it was used really well with sign language and everything. And she was just a sweet girl. I really, really enjoyed her performance here. I heard in my theater multiple times people going, "Oh," because she was just so cute, and she had really great chemistry with Michael B. Jordan. You can see her passion for fighting. She loves boxing. She watches all his fights, and you can see there's an interest there for her. And Mila Davis Kent, that is the name of the actress. She did a really great job of just stealing the show in every scene that she was in. And I could really see them kind of maybe doing another spinoff from this, and maybe in the future growing up the daughter and making her a boxer as well. And I'm down for that. I think that would be a very interesting story to have a female deaf boxer take on that Creed name and survive in that world. I think that that's something that hopefully, not right now, but further down the line they explore. And I saw this movie in an RPX showing, and I think that if you're going to go check this film out, seeing it in an IMAX, RPX, Dolby Atmos, a little bit of a more premium screen, because the movie looks great on a big screen, but also the music. I got to give a shout out to J. Cole for curating this soundtrack, because the music matched a lot of the scenes really, really well, especially when they were coming to the entrances. The entrances to the boxing was so dramatic and fantastic. It really set the mood. It really made it epic. It really copied what happens in real boxing. When boxers come down, they have all these elaborate entrances now, and they did that here, and it was really, really good. But the music just fit the narrative of how that character is feeling, or the story arcs that were building up to that point. And the score, separate from that, was really good as well. There was a lot of inspirational music. You're going to get that in a Rocky montage music, because there's going to be a training montage. The classic Rocky tropes are going to be here. But when they were in the ring, there was this tribal, animalistic music and score that was playing, that it made it feel like it was two animals in the ring, some two alpha males fighting, and they were fighting out like beasts. And I think that added to the fights as well. And I think that the score and the soundtrack really elevated each scene that you can hear the music in. Now let's talk about the bad. So the movie clocks in about 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it's paced so well, and it's so interesting and so engaging that it flies by. I thought the movie was an hour and a half. When we got to the end, I was like, wow, that was fast. But I gotta say, I wish that the movie was maybe 15 to 20 minutes longer, because I feel like there were certain scenes that could have taken some time to breathe. I think there was certain things that in the fight that could have been a little longer. And I also think that Damien's character, he goes from one point to another point, and I wish we got to see a little bit more of that in the film. I'm glad that they took the time to flesh out a bunch of things and have Adonis interact with his daughter, interact with his wife, and their struggles. But Jonathan Majors did a great job of building a compelling character, and this was as much as his story as it was Adonis, and I just wanted a little bit more of his story, because he was such a tantalizing character. So that was a negative for me. After I watched the film, I was like, I wish we got more Jonathan Majors in the film than we did. And then also there's some moments, not a lot, but a couple moments in the film that you have to suspend your disbelief, specifically one that incorporates Stephen A. from First Take. I'm not going to spoil the scene at all, because this is a non-spoiler review, but there's something that happens in it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, come on. I get what you're trying to do, but that doesn't make any sense. That would never happen. So there's a couple scenes here and there where that happens, where you have to suspend your disbelief, and I think certain viewers it's gonna take them out of the film a little bit, because me and my friends were like, what? Well, that would have happened, but it drags you right back in. But I just thought that was really funny that they try to pull that off. And I don't know if it was the screenplay or Michael B. Jordan's choice to make that choice to direct it that way, but it just didn't really work that well. It got the point across, but it just felt weird. And then another thing in terms of choices, especially directing choices, that final fight, that epic final fight that happens at the end, he makes a very, very, very interesting choice in that fight, in the middle of the fight, that I think a lot of people may love, especially if you're an anime fan, and a lot of people might be confused, because this film is so grounded in reality that it might turn some people off. So just be wary of that. You're going to understand what I'm talking about when you see the film. But in that third act fight, I thought it was fantastic. I think it added a lot of story to the fight, and it just was cool to see. Not even if I wasn't an anime fan, but I can understand people not liking it. So that's just a bit of a warning. Let me get into my verdict. So if you are a fan of the first two Creed films, if you're a fan of Rocky 3, because this film shares a lot of similarities between that film, and you like boxing anime, in boxing anime movies, you definitely should check this film out. It has a lot of heart. It has some humor in it. It has a lot of action, and the story is, I think, the most interesting of the three films in terms of pacing and how it's told. And there's like a little bit of a twist in there that's not like mind blowing, but it was good that I didn't expect it. I didn't expect the film to do that. So go see this in the biggest screen possible. Go see this with the best sound, and go see it with some friends, and you can have some fun. Thumbnail, I said it was a game changer. In the earlier my review, I said this was a game changer. I say this is a game changer not because the story is revolutionary. No, it is a simple story that we've seen before, just executed really well. It made me roar. It made me laugh. It made me cry hard in the halfway through the film, and it got me really hyped up with the action. But what really make this a game changer is Michael B. Jordan's directing and how he elevates what you can do in a boxing film. And also the idea of having another actor as the arch nemesis in the boxing film. Like, a lot of boxing films put real boxers in there, and that makes sense, and I love that, and I think they should continue doing that. But having someone who can really act against the actor and pull off the physicality as well just brings another level to the film. And what he did with those inspirational flares from anime to add to the boxing just made the fighting way more interesting and easier to understand what's going through the mind of the fighter. So I think that is what changes the game, and I hope other boxing movies maybe not take the anime flares, but just take some of the notes on how to elevate the fights to make them so interesting on a big screen. But with that said, I love this movie. I think everyone should go check it out, especially if you love the other Creed movies. And I'm going to give this movie a B+. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate Creed 3? Let me know in the comments below if you've seen the film. And if you have not seen the film, you just check it out my review to know if you want to go check it out. Let me know if it pushed you toward that direction. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell if you need to notify my reviews, reactions, ranking lists, live discussions, and more. And you can check out more of my content right now.